In a small town where rules were meant to keep peace, one man discovered that power could be twisted into something far more dangerous. Nathan Carter never wanted a battle. He wanted quiet evenings, a home built by love, and a life free from petty authority. But when a simple celebration sparked an unexpected war with a corrupt homeowners association, Nathan was forced to make a choice: back down or fight for everything he held dear. This isn't just a story about property lines or fines. It's a story about standing tall when others bow, about protecting not just your home, but your freedom, your community, and the truth. Sometimes, the real victory isn't winning the war, it's refusing to surrender, and it all began on a night that was supposed to be perfect. Nathan Carter stood at the edge of his vineyard, the golden light of sunset pouring across the rolling hills of Willow Springs. He glanced back at the farmhouse he and Lily had poured their hearts into restoring. Peeling paint replaced, broken windows fixed, gardens reborn. It was supposed to be their forever home, untouched by the petty rules of any homeowners association. Tonight was meant to be perfect, their 15th wedding anniversary. Friends, family, and laughter filled the air. String lights twinkled in the trees. A local jazz trio played softly near the porch, and glasses of wine flowed freely. Nathan caught Lily's eye across the patio, her green dress swaying as she laughed with her sister, and felt a deep swell of gratitude. They had built a life worth celebrating. But as the first stars began to prick the sky, the atmosphere shifted. At the front gate, voices rose. A man from the valet crew waved him over urgently. Nathan excused himself, weaving through guests toward the commotion. There, standing with her arms crossed and a clipboard clutched tightly to her chest, was Gloria Matthews, the president of the Willow Springs HOA. Two stern-faced assistants flanked her like bodyguards. Nathan approached calmly. "Can I help you?" "Ma'am," Gloria didn't waste a second. "This gathering is in direct violation of our bylaws. No large events without prior approval. No amplified music past 8 p.m. No parking overflow into the community streets." Nathan blinked. "I'm sorry, but this property isn't part of the Willow Springs HOA. We're outside your jurisdiction." Gloria's lips curled into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Not anymore," she said smoothly. "Our board recently voted to expand our boundaries. Your parcel now falls within our community guidelines." Nathan's gut twisted. This was wrong. He would have known if there had been any legitimate boundary changes. Before he could respond, Gloria snapped her fingers at one of her assistants, who immediately pulled out a phone and began dialing. "We'll let the authorities sort it out," Gloria said coolly. "Either you shut this illegal gathering down, or we will." Nathan stood frozen for a heartbeat, the weight of the moment pressing down on him, around him. The party buzzed on, oblivious. His instinct was to protect the evening, protect Lily. He straightened his shoulders. "Do what you have to do." "Ma," he said quietly, "but you're trespassing. Please leave." The police arrived less than 10 minutes later, 2 squad cars, their lights cutting harsh blue patterns across the lawn. Guests murmured nervously. Lily appeared at his side. Slipping her hand into his, officers reviewed Nathan's documents, his title deed, boundary maps, and letters confirming their property's independence. After a tense 30 minutes, the lead officer turned to Gloria. "Ma'am," he said firmly, "this property is not under HOA jurisdiction. You have no authority here." The look Gloria shot Nathan could have frozen blood. Without a word, she turned on her heel and left, her clipboard snapping shut like a guillotine. Nathan thought that was the end of it. He was wrong. The morning after the party, Nathan opened his front door to find an official-looking envelope pinned under a rock. His stomach dropped the moment he recognized the Willow Springs HOA letterhead. Inside, he found a cease and desist order and a fine notice, $15. $7 for unauthorized event activities and willful disregard of community regulations. If unpaid, the letter warned, legal action would follow. including potential liens against his property. Nathan felt a slow, burning anger ignite in his chest. This wasn't a misunderstanding anymore. This was war. Lily read the letter over his shoulder, her hands trembling. This can't be real. We're not under their control. We checked everything before we bought this place. I know, Nathan said, jaw tightening, but they're counting on us being too scared or too broke to fight. By noon, Nathan was on the phone with a sharp, no-nonsense real estate attorney named Claire Donovan, a woman with a reputation for dismantling overreaching HOAs. After one look at his property documents and the fine notice, her voice hardened. They're bluffing, and it's worse than you think, Claire said. Give me 48 hours. Nathan spent the next 2 days in a haze of anxiety. He tried to focus on normal life walking the vineyard, repairing an old trellis, but the shadow of Gloria's threats hung heavy over everything. Neighbors avoided eye contact when he passed. Some even pulled their kids away from playing near his property. The message was clear. Gloria's reach ran deep in Willow Springs. Late Thursday night, Claire called. I found it, she said without preamble. They falsified boundary expansions 2 years ago. The documents were never properly recorded with the county. Legally, it's worthless. Nathan exhaled slowly, a mix of relief and fury boiling inside him. That's not all, Claire continued. I've also uncovered financial irregularities in their HOA reports. Misallocated funds, inflated contractor payments, missing maintenance invoices. It's textbook embezzlement. Nathan leaned back in his chair, stunned. It wasn't just about his party. It was about control and profit. Claire's voice sharpened. We can fight this, but if we do, we go public, class action level. Are you ready for that kind of fight? Nathan. He looked across the kitchen where Lily was watering plants, her profile silhouetted against the morning sun. He thought about the years they had spent rebuilding their dream, the sweat, the sacrifice, about how easily Gloria thought she could take it all away. I'm ready, he said. And so the battle lines were drawn. Nathan and Claire drafted a lawsuit not just against the Willow Springs HOA, but against Gloria Matthews personally. They sent cease and desist letters to halt any further fines or threats. They filed formal complaints with the county recorder's office and the state attorney general. Word spread quickly through Willow Springs. Neighbors who had once cowered behind closed doors began reaching out quietly. Emails, notes slipped under Nathan's door. Whispered conversations at the grocery store. We got fined too. They said we violated fence height rules, but we measured ours was legal. I paid $3,000 in penalties I couldn't afford. The HOA's glossy veneer cracked, and what spilled out was years of quiet resentment, fear, and anger. At a hastily organized town meeting, Nathan stood before a packed community center, documents in hand. He laid it all out, the falsified maps, the financial corruption, the bullying tactics. You deserve better, he said simply. We all do. Gaunt. For a moment, silence. Then, applause. Slow at first, then rising to a roar. In that moment, Nathan realized this fight wasn't just about saving his home anymore. It was about saving the soul of Willow Springs. The courtroom buzzed with tense energy as Nathan Carter sat behind the plaintiff's table, hands folded tightly in front of him. Lily sat beside him, offering a steady, grounding presence. Around them, dozens of neighbors filled the pews, faces that had once turned away, now filled with hope and solidarity. Across the aisle, Gloria Matthews perched stiffly, flanked by her attorneys. Her trademark smirk was gone, replaced by a cold mask of calculation. The trial had been brutal. Over the past week, Claire Donovan systematically dismantled the HOA's defense. She presented maps with forged boundary lines, contracts for maintenance projects that had never happened, and financial records riddled with discrepancies. Witness after witness testified to harassment, coercion, and fines issued for imaginary violations. But the most damning moment came when the county clerk himself took the stand, confirming under oath that the HOA's supposed expansion was never legally approved or recorded. Gloria's world began to unravel in real time. When Claire called Nathan to the stand, he spoke plainly, not as a lawyer or a politician would, but as a homeowner, a neighbor, a man defending the life he had built. "I didn't want to start a war," Nathan said, voice steady. "I just wanted to be left alone. To live in the home my wife and I built with our own hands. But when someone tries to take that from you, you don't just sit back. You stand up, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's been too afraid to fight." Nichikisum. The judge's ruling came swiftly. All fines against Nathan and other homeowners were declared null and void. The HOA was ordered to pay restitution to every resident who had been unfairly fined or harassed, totaling over $2 million. Gloria Matthews was found personally liable for fraud and abuse of power, banned from serving on any HOA board in the state, and referred for criminal prosecution. When the gavel fell, sealing the judgment, a stunned silence filled the room. Then, an eruption of cheers. Neighbors hugged. Strangers shook Nathan's hand. Tears streamed down faces hardened by years of fear. Gloria, for her part, left through a side door under the escort of 2 deputies, avoiding the cameras waiting outside. Outside the courthouse steps, the media clamored for statements. Nathan simply raised Lily's hand and said, "This victory isn't just ours. It belongs to everyone who refuses to be bullied." In the weeks that followed, Willow Springs transformed. A new, transparent community board was elected. The illegal expansions were reversed. Residents who had lived in fear opened their doors again, held block parties, and celebrated small victories that once seemed impossible. Nathan and Lily, though hailed as heroes, sought no spotlight. Instead, they retreated quietly to their farmhouse, tending their vineyard, hosting quiet dinners with old and new friends. They had fought the war and won, but more importantly, they had reclaimed something far greater: their peace, their dignity, their sense of belonging. One cool autumn evening, Nathan and Lily sat on their front porch, glasses of homemade wine in hand, watching the sun sink behind the hills. Lily leaned against his shoulder. "Think they'll ever try something like that again?" Nathan chuckled, the sound low and sure. "Not while we're here." They raised their glasses in a silent toast to resilience, to community, to freedom, and let the stillness of their reclaimed home settle around them like a warm blanket. They had not just survived, they had triumphed.